Hey, everybody. We want to welcome you on to the Pit Stop podcast tonight. Patrick's going to be with us here in just a couple of minutes. We got some guests lined up tonight. Been looking forward to this one for a while as we get ready for the Open Wheel Showdown coming up in Vegas here in November. Davey Hamilton Jr. is going to join us here in just a second and talk a little bit about the dream, how it went last year, and what we're looking at here for 2024. He's put together one of the pinnacles of sprint car racing. He's added super modifieds on tap this year. So we'll spend some time talking to Davey. And then one of the participants in that event, Natalie Waters, one of our Speed Tour sprint car drivers powered by Pit Stop USA. She's going to be here with us as well. So we're going to talk a little Open Wheel Showdown tonight. Again, Patrick's going to be with us. But first, just want to let you know what's going on this weekend around the Treasure Valley real quick. If you're think you're missing that motorsports itch, we've still got some racing going on. Joe and the crew out at Skyline Speed Bowl, Outlaw Karts, the Mike Hassan Hustler. It's always a big one on Friday night, so you head out there to the Skyline Speed Bowl, and those guys are going to be putting on some great Outlaw Kart racing for you tonight as well, or this weekend. So go out there and chat with them. And then the Motorplex at the Mill, Travis and the crew have their last grand finale, 2-day show at Motorplex at the Mill. Friday is an event that they had already rescheduled when it was a little too hot to be racing up here. And then on Saturday night, they get it all rocking and rolling with their final event of 2024. So definitely check those out if you're here in the Valley. We'll be back at Meridian Speedway on October 26th for a Trunk or Treat Championship finale. We handed out 6 championships this weekend. So Patrick and I are going to get together next week when we kind of have that off week in the middle, and we'll talk a little bit about Magic Valley, Meridian Speedway, and maybe even some Motorplex at the Mill champions as they're all starting to get crowned. As we get in here, we do want to let you guys know to jump in on the comment section. We'll get as many of them on as we can. Let's see. We got a couple of them just to show you how it all works. Dylan's on here. We've got Jeremy White ready. He's already got a Open Wheel Showdown question, and I'm sure Davey will get to that as far as watching that on television. I know I purchased that last year. It was an awesome event, so we'll talk to Davey when we get closer to that. And then, yeah, I don't have an Open Wheel Showdown shirt, but I did happen to find this one in the closet. I'm just I gotta get to Vegas to get that Open Wheel Showdown shirt for next time. But so yes, John, I'm kind of brown nosing a little bit here with my brand new Natalie Waters shirt that I got a couple of weekends ago. Patrick is working his way in here. We want to thank some of the sponsors really quick. Patrick and I do this just for the love of the game, but some of these folks have stepped up and helped us a lot as we worked our way through our first season on the podcast, just trying to spread the word about some racing. Performance Signs and Graphics, Mike Soysteth, a lot of the cars out there at Meridian Speedway. He's got the wraps and stickers and logos and all that cool stuff. Idaho CDL Training. Oh, look at this. I'm going to bring you on right now, Patrick. Hi, Patrick. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Hey, just running through our sponsors real quick here. Scent Savvy. Shelby keeping us smelling nice with all the, what does she call them? Smellies? Freshies.
Freshies.
We're smelly, so we need freshies. That's where I got that one confused.
Yes.
So check them all out. I'm going to add a couple more, Patrick. Our friends at Pit Stop Podcast, that's us. Our friends at Overturf Photography, and this is going to be backwards because my camera's backwards, but they made us some cool. John and Mary make some of the coolest souvenirs that you can think of. They redesigned our logo. We've got magnets. Gave Patrick. We had a Christmas ornament.
Yeah.
I've got Pit Stop Podcast shot glasses.
Ooh.
Here's another one, Mr. Waters, that I was kissing, but I got this cool hat at the races from the Natalie Waters crew the other day. Haven't even worn it yet because me and white hats don't go good together. So anyway, special event. Overturf Photography. Those guys are way cool. And Jerry and Mary just came up and handed me a bag full of stuff and said, we love watching the show, love what you do, and here's some stuff for you and Patrick, and if you need any more, let us know. We got the brand new logo up on the top right of the screen here. So I appreciate those guys. I know it's kind of like Christmas for a couple of racing dorks like Patrick and I. We're just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah, we love it, and they can do anything. So, like, if you've ever stopped by and seen them at one of the racetracks, because I went one, they came down to Twin, and you could literally name your favorite, race car driver that you've seen at that track, and if they don't already have something made, whether it's a magnet, a little stand-up poster, or whatever, they can make it for you. They'll find an image and make it. So, like, for example, next time I see them, I'm going to say, hey, I maybe want to see. Oh, what do you got there?
This is my mouse pad, Pink Lady, Kenny Hamilton. We'll be talking to his grandson.
That's your mouse pad?
This is my mouse pad that I got from them a couple of years ago.
Yes.
I didn't realize I had so much overturf stuff in my house. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to see what they can make for me, because I just I was watching at Meridian this past weekend. I was kind of cheering for somebody to win a particular race, and she ended up winning the championship, number 92, Melissa Weaver. So I might have them make something. Yeah. I can hang up maybe back here.
We had some good racing going on that last weekend. Yeah. Speaking of that race, she won the championship. The guy that won the race, Tate Elquist, I got to shout out to Tate before we get to Davey. Western Idaho Racing Hall of Fame that we've been talking about on and off, the Idaho Historical Racing Society. Tate and his wife, Jen, own what is called the Lakeside Barn. It's a wedding venue, event venue. So just a little teaser here for everybody that wants to see the actual induction for the Western Idaho Racing Hall of Fame. Todd Lebrani, Dennis Wirtz Jr., Bruce Bailey, and Jeff Russell were our inductees this year. November 23rd. Keep an eye out on the podcast page and the IHRS page. The Lakeshore Barn is going to be the place for the 2024 induction. Todd and Stan and I met with them. The board met. It's like 95.9% sure what's happening. Now it might be 100 since I just flapped my jaws, but that's the way we work, right, Patrick? So Idaho Historical Racing Society is going to present the Western Idaho Racing Hall of Fame induction celebration, and it's going to be November 23rd at the Lakeshore Barn. So we also added. I appreciate what Tate and them did. They big supporters of racing. He won his first main event the other night. We go out there, we talk to him about this, and they're going to hook us up. So we're going to put the Lakeshore Barn down there on one of our sponsor lists as well as we work our way through the winter. So.
Very cool.
So, yeah. So what do you got, Patrick, before we bring Davey on? You got everybody locked in and loaded there at home. And see, that's the thing. I'm old. My kids are old. If they don't go to bed, I tell them to move out. We can't do that.
I was talking to my wife, and I was like, hey, when the kids are all grown up and moved out, can I have a podcast room in the house like Brent does? And she's like, yeah. So one day, Brent, we'll get there.
This is it. Bad thing is the people I would live with, they actually have the lock on the outside of the door. So a lot of times I'm in here for days, but it's okay. It's all right. But yeah, definitely jump in and join us. Stan Fuller, I was just out there with him. Good buddy Brad Hunsaker is watching tonight. Judy, one of our super modified. She is just like the super modified lady. You look on Facebook, she's got the pictures and the videos and everything. She keeps us all.
So we call her Super Judy or what?
Yeah, we could call her that. Yeah.
It's kind of catchy.
They like my mouse pad. So I've got the legendary mouse pad with the Kenny Hamilton pink lady on it.
Yeah.
Sam Breach says, what about the Dan Breach flag on the wall? Oops, I didn't click it in time. Flag on the wall. Mine is, but it's behind my cool backdrop thing here because
I didn't get a Dan flag. I need one.
Ooh, guess what you're getting for Christmas? We'll fix that.
Yeah.
We'll fix that up. And then one of our champs at Meridian Speedway, Corbin Black's on. So Corbin, thanks for coming on. He picked up a Firehouse Pub and Grill bomber. See, there we go.
I've got him nearby.
Got him nearby.
My nightstand, yep.
All the time. Keith Gonzalez on there. So anyway, that's how you get involved. Is jump on there. We're gonna swap this thing over though because this is a cool event, Patrick. This young man makes me feel old. Watched him race go-karts out here at Meridian and moved his way up to some amazing racing, which we'll talk to him a little bit about as well. But what he has done, I just got done watching an interview with Ralph Shaheen and his dad, Davey Sr. Davey picked up a super modified race win in the Pink Lady Super Mod. So while I was prepping for this one, I was watching that, and he has done a heck of a job. The Open Wheel Showdown. Did you watch it? Did you keep track of it last year at all? I know we had a lot of the guys that you and I, guys and gals. Sorry, Natalie. A lot of the guys and gals that we watch regularly. With Davey being able to bring this thing out west, a lot of our local favorites were in that thing. So I'm excited for it this year.
Yeah, I am too. I just followed on social. I didn't get to catch the event. I was working and stuff, so like didn't really get to see it live. But I was, of course, they did a great job of posting, letting you know who's going to be there, crazy amount of money that's going to be dropped, and prepping for it as far as like the social buildup and that. They did a great job, so you can keep tabs on the socials and find out what's going on.
Yep. So let's bring him on because I know he has been working his tail off to get this thing rolling. Davey Hamilton Jr. Davey, like I said, it's not only Open Wheel Showdown time for you, but you and Jimmy and my son and everybody's keeping an eye on your hometown and home state of Florida too. So thanks for taking the time to join us tonight, man.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, it worked out. Luckily, I'm not in Florida right now, but it's definitely kind of scary. This is the first time that I've had a property or living in a place that is probably going to be very affected by the hurricane. So a little nervous. I'm in Indiana right now. I do a 2-seater IndyCar tomorrow, so I'm going to be taking people for rides while Tampa's getting hit by a hurricane, and hopefully my house doesn't get flooded. But just praying for everybody down there, and hopefully you don't want to say hopefully it goes south because then they get hit, but I'm hoping for the best situation possible.
Right. So let's go back because I know a lot of us know you and we've watched you, but tell us what the dream, the goal. I mean, you've done your racing, and I know you're still very active in it. But what brought this Open Wheel Showdown? What started those wheels turning years ago?
Yeah, you're right. There you go. Years ago, man. I kind of like started watching videos of my dad at Copper World Classic, and was just thinking to myself, like, what is that event now? And, even Turkey Night, watching Turkey. I remember as a kid, I was like, I want to go race Turkey Night. I want to get to California. I want to be in the focus class, and I want to go race with Stuart and my dad and everything like that. And unfortunately, they moved it to dirt, and it kind of like defeated the opportunity basically. And, luckily years ago, I just had it on paper. I mean, I created a 50-page business plan basically for this whole thing. And I called Hoosier. I called my old teams. I reached out to old teams I used to drive for. I was like, hey, like, here's a crazy idea, but we got to go big. And what are your thoughts? And I don't want to say it was just a me effort, but originally it was just going to be called the Sprint Car Showdown. It wasn't supposed to be super modifieds or midgets or modifieds at all. Like, it was just going to be sprint cars because that's what I race and that's what I love. But last year, somebody got in my ear and goes, well, why don't you add this class and this class and this class? Well, then I was like, okay, like, let's make it the Open Wheel Showdown. And it just blew up after that. I mean, luckily our partner BitNile, it's the same group of people that I had last year. That was my title sponsor. They had a lot of interest in helping me get to like doing some IndyCar stuff and Indy Lights stuff. And, they wanted to see what the short track world was all about, and they're based in Vegas. So they got they gave me like the opportunity, but really to make this happen last year. And they enjoyed it so much that they decided to come back on board this year.
So last year was a success. I mean, a guy that Patrick and I are very familiar with, Aaron Willison, gets the money. We watched some, the super mods were awesome. Of course, a couple of the favorites, your dad, Brian Wharf, things didn't go so good for them. But here we are again, 2024. So as you guys work through after that one, few changes, some modifieds coming in. Tell us a little bit about the new, this season, something different.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, I mean, this has been the biggest roller coaster year that I've ever experienced, just from my personal racing to my living situation. I mean, I decided to get rid of my place in Tampa and get a motorhome, and I have it for about a month, and I hit a deer. Well, now I'm homeless, so I had no choice but to get another place in Tampa. And my racing this year, I've had probably like 4 or 5 blown engines, 6 or 7 flat tires while I'm bleeding, taken out by lap car. I mean, it's been like the weirdest year. Even my dad, he struggled this year. He lost vision in his right eye for like a month and a half, and they had to do like emergency surgery. And so it's been one of those years. And then like with Opal Showdown, obviously everybody was excited to go to Irwindale. I love that track. I was so excited to go back there. And financially, everything's got to be in order and make sense. And there were just some things on the back end of the deals that I really could have taken a huge risk out there and really put myself in a bad spot that would have probably put Opal Showdown down the drain for years to come. And that's not what we want. We want to keep Opal Showdown growing. And everybody, I've even talked to teams, and it actually made a lot more sense just to focus on one event. It's hard for teams to stay 2.5 weeks on the road. And that's what kind of happened with the midget situation, right? So like our title sponsor, Klotz Lubricants and Cometa Gaskets, they provide a lot of financial support to be a part of the event. And the midget guys, like, I love racing midgets. I was going to drive this year. I was going to be in a car. I was going to drive for Kevin Gerhardt and get that opportunity. But the problem is that the sponsor wasn't happy with the feedback that they were getting from the entry side of things. So I tried everything I could to just get people to enter on the midget side, because everything else was great. I mean, we're really solid in numbers. So after talking with everybody, we decided to add modifieds to the event. And I mean, I'm at 32 modifieds now, and we're going to have a B main. And I think we opened entries for them about a month ago. That's incredible. It's insane. So right now we're at 133 entries total. We have 71 sprint cars entered. We just had another one entry yesterday. I think it might've been today. 71. Now, probably not all of them are going to show up, but they are 8 entries. And so it's going to be incredible. And then also, I don't know who all, if you guys were there last year or whatever, but the pit area that Vegas has is so large. It's insane. Well, this year they cut it in half. So yeah, it's a lot of logistical nightmares that I have to go through, and people are wanting their buses parked inside. And I want it to be easy like last year, but realistically, our pit area has been cut down in half, and I have 50 more cars and teams that I have to fit this year. So
squeeze them all in.
Yeah, so it's going to be unique. A lot of great partners, though, have joined us this year. We got Good Boy Vodka. They came on board, and they want to be on this thing for multiple years. And they're sending pallets of drinks and stuff to give out to people. And we have vendors this year that are want to show off their products. And yeah, I mean, it's growing. I mean, I have tracks all over the country now begging and asking, how do we get an Opal Showdown event at our track? And I got to make sure to do the steps properly and right to make sure that it doesn't dilute from what we're doing at Vegas.
Right. Yeah, so that's a ton, because I was just looking at the last one I saw. It was 122. So you guys are still adding cars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Vegas, I mean, I know it's, the track is perfect for what you guys are doing. How are they to work with? Are they after year number one? Were they pretty satisfied with the event you brought in, or is it more just you go in and take the place?
Yeah, so the business model that I created is actually kind of a universal model that could be used at almost any racetrack in the country. I basically come in and I rent the facility out, and I have control of X amount of things, and I'm responsible for X amount of things. So financially, it's tough. It's hard. These are $500,000 events, to be honest with you. To be completely transparent, these are over $500,000 to put on. But Vegas, I raced there when I was younger in a Focus Midget, and I always thought, man, this would be the coolest track for a wing sprint car. And luckily last year was the first time we got to ever see a sprint car on that track, wing car.
Right.
And it just makes sense. I mean, the views there, and you got a full-time air show the entire weekend. You just see all these jets flying around, and then the money, the money makes sense to be in Vegas. And I don't know what Aaron did last year. I mean, he probably went, gambled after that. I lost it all.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, I know. He's been winning a lot this year. So hopefully, I know it's my event, and I'm a competitor in it as well. But at the end of the day, I hope I could save 50 grand and not have to pay somebody 50 grand. But we'll see.
Exactly. The money going both ways there.
Right,
Did you have something, Patrick?
Yeah, so I was going to ask a few things. So speaking about Vegas, does off-track atmosphere of Vegas add to the event?
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. It was the coolest thing. Like last year, like just sitting in the, I'm in my team hauler, like, and everybody was coming up to me. They're like, man, this feels like Cop World. I had guys that went to Cop World back in the day, and they came up to me like, this is what the pit area felt like. This is the atmosphere it felt like. It was really cool. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting anybody to buy a Davey Hamilton Jr. hat because, like, why? So it was really cool to see all that stuff actually sold, and it helped a lot. I mean, that's what helps pay these purses. So it was just inspiring, honestly. It made me feel like I did something right in my life, and I want to be a professional race car driver. I want to get to IndyCar. I have some opportunities, and but I feel like I'm getting old, so I want to have a backup plan. And I think promoting is my grandpa did it, my dad did it. You guys know that. So,
Yep.
But the atmosphere in the pit area was just incredible, because when was the last time you see? I mean, it's never happened actually. Like 70, or at the time it was like 55 last year. But that amount of wing sprint cars in a pit area is the coolest thing in the world to look at. It's so cool. And this year that we've doubled our numbers, close to double our numbers from last year. It's I'm excited. I mean, I know it's going to be a lot more stress on me because I have to go look at the pit office and the pit pass sales and the merchandise trailer, and I'm racing and all the other issues that people kind of throw on me. But this year I have a good staff. I actually have a new partner this year for Opal Showdown. He came on board, and he's kind of helping the back end of things to where I don't really have to stress on that so much. So that's a huge help.
I was gonna also ask, well, I mean, yeah, you have done a great job. Obviously, we see these race car drivers that we watch, they race weekend after weekend after weekend, and that's all they do. And then this open wheel showdown comes on. When you see these seasoned for decades race car drivers start doing this for the open wheel showdown, they're getting excited for it. Like, you don't see them excited for some of these other events. That there's something special going on down there. But I wanted to ask for the guys like us, like if we're up in Idaho, we can't make it down to the event, we can watch online. And I know last year you guys had thousands of people tuning in online. How do you like connect? What plans are there to like connect with those folks that aren't at the event but watching online?
Yeah, so last year was a learning curve for not just us, but Speed Sport as well. They took a chance on me, and kind of bringing Ralph Shaheen out there. He's one of my partners. So it was really cool to, first of all, I got to say, as a kid, when you grow up watching Supercross and you hear Ralph Shaheen's voice, you just like, man, that'd be so cool if he was at one of my race weekends one time in my life. And now the fact that he's calling the races is insane. So huge thank you to those guys. But this year we're doing a lot of different things. We're potentially, I got to go out there and like take measurements and stuff, but we want to bring a Jumbotron in, because that's something that was like unique. So like the fans that are at home can like take a picture of their TV or whatever and like hashtag Opal Showdown. And at the event, they'll be like shown on the Jumbotron. And, this year we have a lot more fan giveaways. We're doing 50-50 raffles. We're just growing one step at a time. So that way the fans can have a chance to make money. So like you just show up, buy a ticket, and who knows? I mean, Eldora made it to where like it was like $300-something thousand. Probably not going to get there this year, but I mean, even if a fan could walk away with a couple grand, that's the beauty of Vegas. And it's a party weekend, honestly. I mean, it's just, even the RV area, it is. Last year they had campfires. It was the coolest thing. So this year we're doing these huge fire cannons that are like, they shoot flames like 30 feet in the air. It's the craziest thing ever. But fireworks show. We're just one step at a time, but eventually I hope this turns into that pinnacle event that people they put on their calendar at the beginning of the year, and they plan for it, because South Point, our hotel partner, they're with me for the long run as well. So I see this coming for years to come.
What I know there's, like you said, there's tons of like headaches and fires that are always going on. You're going to have to, you're juggling everything. What's maybe something that, because obviously there's a lot of thought beforehand for years by you to go into this. What's something maybe unexpected that came up? Be like, man, I didn't think that was going to be a hurdle I had to jump.
I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to anyways. And, it is what it is. I have security. Just so everybody that's watching, I have security. But last year, I didn't realize how many people would pay cash. So I didn't think of that. And the bank that I had with my business was a bank based out of Tampa. So you couldn't go to a Chase bank. It was a strictly Tampa bank. So I had duffel bags of money. And I'm talking a full on movie, like duffel bags that I'm trying to hide so nobody could see what's going on. Luckily I got into my hotel room at the time, but but this year I got a plan in place. And remember, everybody, I got security.
Security, yes.
It's just, but that was one of the things that I just didn't. That was number one. Number two is I sold out of all my event merch on day 2 out of 4, and I spent a lot of money on merchandise. And when you're going into a year one, there's a lot of complaints of people that are like, we didn't get merch, like whatever. Like, first of all, I spent 20 grand on merch. I didn't know. I thought I was going to be screwed. I thought I was going to have to go home with all this merchandise that didn't sell. So going into this year, obviously I know my numbers a little bit better. So doing more merch, going to have more merch available for the grandstands in the pit area. Last year, it wasn't really my fault, but the track just didn't know that they were allowed to have fans come to the pits after each night. So that kind of affected like the drivers' merchandise sales and just interacting with the fans. So, this year we're gonna do a little bit better job, just making sure that everybody's welcome, and we'll see what happens.
Right on. And then I know you talked about, you want this to be an event that's obviously continues. So what are the steps you have to take to make sure that the legacy lives on?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, luckily Vegas, the group that I rent the facility from, last year was very like tricky because they didn't know these cars and they've never seen them on that track before. So it was like, and the last time they had supers there was like, there was an accident, they just thought these cars were super dangerous. So I provide my own insurance policy, and so year one was very like questionable, but now that they saw how successful it was, they're like willing to work. That's the other problem I actually had is last year, you don't think about porta potties, right? So the porta potties were overfilling and just like, it was disgusting, but I didn't know. And, like the vendors for the food stuff, like the track handles that, but they didn't expect that many people either. And parking, I mean, we ran out of park. People were had to leave. And the grandstands weren't even full. So, but anyways, to keep the things going forward is creating these relationships with everybody. I mean, I have a engine manufacturer. I'm not going to say who, but they want to do a lot for sprint car racing as a whole, and they want a 3-year deal right now so it's things like that. When these partners come on board for multiple years, I don't see this event going away. The problem that we run into is that I have my own personal racing that I want to try to go and accomplish as well, because I feel like it has been a little bit of a distraction for me this year. It's I'm stressed out every day on this event, and I'm also stressed out on the fact that I have to go try and raise 1.5 million to go do Indy Lights. But we'll see what happens. But like I said, luckily I have a partner now in this, and I see maybe years to come I'm not going to be as involved, but my vision's still there, my creativity is still there. I mean, everybody that was there last year, everybody agreed on one thing: it was proper, it was organized, it was professional. And that's something that I really spend a lot of time on doing, is making sure everything is just properly organized, so it's not a cluster. Because when you have that many people and cars, you don't want anybody to get hurt or make it look bad, and people don't want to come back. So we'll see what happens. But I think we're in a good shape and good place right now that this is going to continue for years to come.
Never hurts too when you see things written about the event, like largest payout in history, stuff like that.
Yeah, it costs a lot, and it's not fun writing checks, to Aaron Wilson for $50,000. I'd rather not write anybody a check. But it's there's a lot of issues this year too. Like, it's a learning curve. Like, I haven't been in this type of business for a long time. So we had to refund people from Irwindale on RV spots and entry fees, which again, that's a whole learning thing. I'm not, so we actually, I think just today, I think our accountant just got everybody refunded for Irwindale. But you got to go through the list in order and figure out how you even do that. You go through your credit card processing machines, and it is like, after it's been months, it's hard to kind of go back, and it costs us more. But I try to offer everybody like a bonus or like extra money back or a pit pass for their inconvenience. Like I try to go out of my way as best as I could. And, I hope everybody just understands that I didn't want to get rid of that event. I just try to make everything bright so everybody can still have fun in Vegas. But yeah, we'll see. I do know that the plan is for Opal Showdown is to grow into something that's more like the high limit type deal, where we have franchise teams. I mean, like I said, there's tracks all over the country that want us. It's just everything's got to go in right steps. And I don't want to jump the gun on a series that's traveling. Like my dad did try something with King of the Wing.
Yep.
I loved it. I props to him, but there's a lot of things that I don't agree with. This is why we butt heads sometimes as Hamiltons. But I want to make sure that everything is proper to where when franchise teams come on board, that they're making money out of the deal. So I want to make sure all my partners are in place to where we have a couple Opal Showdown events across the country that lead into Vegas being the finale, the big money, and just the party week.
Right. So a couple quick questions. We got a couple of guys.
Last one I had.
Oh, go ahead, Patrick. You're okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. Last question I had was, do you have a rival? Like, is there someone there at the Showdown that you're like, hey?
Everybody does, and it's Aaron Willison, unfortunately, right? So, like I kind of grew up a little salty with him, for years. Like I honestly did. Like I didn't like him. I think he's a good person now, and now I got to know him. But back when I was younger, I just did not like the guy, and he and I became friends. We're not like the closest of friends, but how smart he is at setting up a race car is something that is like insane. Like he comes and races in Florida or in the Midwest, and it's really kind of inspiring to see like he could take any car and be fast, and that's impressive. So he's doing a lot of things right. I'm glad to call him a friend now and not an enemy. But I will say though that like everybody has our eyes on Aaron this year for sure, of trying to make sure he doesn't walk away with 50 grand. But I gotta say, my format is very tough, but he did get the luck of being able to start in the front row. I had a shot to get around him in the heat race, but it did not. There's a lap car that kind of screwed it up, but he got lucky. He pulled the ace on starting on the front row, and he checked out. And I mean, nobody really had a chance to compete with him, but we'll see what happens this year. Hopefully it's a little bit more work for him.
Right on.
Dylan says, yeah, he's going to be watching the Rival 14 at the Open Wheel Showdown down there. Might be too early, but Riley was just wondering, can people expect, same pit pass prices and stuff? Or are you guys going to release that a little later?
No, it's actually, it should be on our website right now. Okay. But yeah, it's the same pricing as last year. I didn't want to raise it on anybody.
Right. And then looks like Dylan cleared up. It's not Speed Cast, it's Speed Sport.
Yep.
And then Dylan's got your link right there. So it is Speed Sport. And like I said, for guys like Patrick and I, just to be able to listen to Ralph do a race and cool. Say the names of the guys that Patrick and I call all summer long, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm excited. We'll see what happens. I don't know any of these modified guys. I know there's some that are coming out of Idaho. Mm-hmm. I've never ran a modified, and that's so I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm excited to have them to the show, and I know they're excited. I mean, I'm getting messages from calls from those guys, and they're just thanking me for being a part of the event. There's a guy that's driving 26 hours for this thing, and I mean, I know the purse is not $50,000 to win, but it's pretty incredible to see that we're going in the right direction, and every year should be bigger and better.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, a lot of our local, the Utah, the Idaho modified guys, and I think, and for you as well. I mean, it's just another draw. It's another few tickets and plane rides from Idaho and Utah to go support the local guys and support this cool show.
Yep.
So
hopefully next year we have I want to do I have all these dreams, right? But it's all about getting them happening. But, my dad used to promote freestyle events. So hopefully next year I could bring in some of those guys. I know I'm friends with some of them. It'd be cool to have some freestyle going on and during the intermission. I wanted to do a celebrity Crown Vic race, kind of like what Cletus McFarland does. I'm friends with him.
Yes.
So I did talk to him about it. It's tough for this year. Maybe next year we'll see. But I wanted to get some top names out there, and really just bring more attention to the event. I mean, last year, there was a lot of celebrities. I mean, I had Mark Martin and Buddy Rice, Sam Schmidt. I don't know if you guys know who the Plain White Tees are, but they made some music back in the day that was amazing. But they were all there. There's definitely more, but it's cool to have those people come out. So yeah, we'll see who shows up this year.
Right. No, it's kind of going to be the who's who of everything, right? Racing and all of the stuff. One of our drivers, Rosalie Weller, she's going to be headed down, and that's what a lot of them are excited. The modified deal up here is there's a couple different ways to go. Dylan's right there. He's keeping us up. He's keeping us going tonight.
They were there. They were in our IndyCar hospitality unit. That was kind of where they're hiding out. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. So yeah, Davey. I mean, I know you got a lot on your plate. You got a lot going on. We're looking forward to it. Anything else in closing, and then we'll roll Natalie Waters, one of your competitors, in here. Well, she will be your competitor. She's behind the wheel. But as far as the event itself, what else do we need to know? I mean, I think we covered quite a bit. Anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I just say, South Point Casino and Hotel, they gave us another leniency to the October 15th for people that want to get rooms. Okay. Our rate is really, you can't beat it. And everybody's staying there. I know my team is, my family is, a lot of competitors are. Our room block is almost sold out fully, but I definitely would jump on that the best that you guys can. It's all on our website, opalshowdown.com. The code is on there as well on how to book. There's still RV spots available. That's done through the track, but you can find that on opalshowdown.com as well. And then as far as updates go, just go to all of our social channels at Opal Showdown. And yeah, we'll just, we're a month out. So it's starting to get hectic.
Yeah. It's hard to believe. Well, cool, man. We'll let you get back. I know you're back. You're a few hours off of us, so I appreciate you staying up and hanging out with us. Patrick and I think we're going to make a call to South Point and get some rooms booked. I got to get to Vegas this year.
Give it a shot, even if it's just for one night and you guys come see race day. That's the fun night. So it gets rowdy, I got to say. But the good thing is I don't want to encourage this, but there was one fight last year, so let's try to go with 0 fights this year.
Zero's good, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I tell you what, I appreciate you coming on and working for your grandpa and your dad at Meridian and watching them race and you grow up doing it. It's an honor to have you on here, and hopefully we'll catch up with you here in a month down in Vegas.
Cool. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, dude.
All right.
Yep.
So Davey Hamilton Jr., we'll let him get back. I know he's got a lot going on, and then we're going to bring on another race car driver, not a race car promoter. This young lady finishing up a pretty good year in the Speed Tour Sprint cars powered by Pit Stop USA, trying to get Natalie in the there's Patrick in the 3D. Hi, Patrick. There's Natalie. Sorry. So Natalie, we talked to Davey. Sounds like a cool event. Now you're kind of a veteran, right? Because you were there last year. Does that make you a veteran of this event?
I mean, if it's only been 2 years and I've been to every year, I feel like that deserves a veteran, right?
100% attendance award.
Yeah. You haven't missed one yet, right?
Right.
So Natalie, before we get to Open Wheel Showdown, catch the fans up. We've talked to you. We've got a couple of the interviews we've had with you up on the YouTube page. But how did 2024 go? I know we got one more big event. But up until this big Open Wheel Showdown, how was the season for you guys?
I mean, it was okay. We struggled a lot this year. We burned our motor down in Vegas last year, and ever since we got it back, we just were struggling so bad. The car was overheating, and it just felt kind of underpowered. And so we sent the motor back and had it re-gone through, and it seemed like no matter what we did, we could not find our issue. And so we only finished 2 races this year because, my light was going off 240, and I'd have to come off. And then finally at the Pink Lady, thanks to Matt Elliott, our hero over there, he told us, that car, I think I know what it is. It sounds like a fuel filter. I'm like, a fuel filter? It can't be. We clean our fuel filters after every time we start the car. It can't be a fuel filter. And so he's like, well, I got one. Just try this one just in case and see if it makes a difference. And sure enough, The car ran like a dream. I think
Wow.
the hottest it got all weekend was like 185. And, those fuel filters, I guess that we had a stainless steel one, and eventually that stainless steel just expands and then it doesn't let the fuel go through. And so, you can clean it as many times as you want, but, it's still not going to work. And so, yeah, the car was just on rails in Pink Lady. And I was so excited. I remember right after we replaced the fuel filter, I hit the gas just to see, if it fixed it. And when I hit the gas, it scared me. Like that car just like launched down the straightaway. And I came in and my grandpa was like, "You okay? Are you okay? You don't look so good." And I was like, my hands hurt. I was holding on. Like that car was going fast. So we're really excited for Vegas, after struggling all year and finding that big issue and finally getting the car to where we want it and like it to be. And it'll be so much fun to get back on there.
So Patrick, one of the drivers from your neck of the woods here. What do you got for Natalie as she gets ready for this big Vegas trip?
All right, Natalie, let's start with this. Open Wheel Showdown, huge payout, right? Like there's a lot of money put behind this thing. When you're racing in an event like that, do you feel like it's more pressure, or do you feel like it's kind of like more drive to up your performance?
I feel like it's a little bit of both. I mean, the pressure is really there just because, I guess it's not so much about the money for me. It's more about the eyes, right? How many people are watching this event? And, Audra Cicelli is the only other female in this group. Like, how many people are watching just based on that? And so really for me, it's a lot of pressure to perform and make sure we do well and make sure we make the show and just all of those factors that go into it. And, the money is the reason that everybody's watching. So that's, a huge factor into it. But for us, it's just trying to do well with how many people are looking at us.
Right on. And so sprint cars, if you're watching right now and you haven't seen them, they're known because they're badass and they're super fast. So when you take your sprint car down to a place like the Bull Ring, how do you adjust? Because that's kind of like a unique track, right? So how do you adjust your style to fit that track?
Oh my gosh, it was so different because even though I've raced a midget down there before, a Focus midget, I've raced there twice, and so I thought I'd have an arm and a leg over everybody else. And then when I got there, I could not figure out where everyone was getting the speed that I couldn't find. And finally, I figured out that you have to like pass the corner down that dog leg and then turn. And so that was like the weirdest thing for me to get used to. It was like, okay, now it's behind me and now we turn. So like that was so weird. And so then to try to set the car up around that as well, because then you're trying to make it more round to come off easier. And so, if you didn't hit it just right, the car was super, super tight. And so we were trying to loosen the car. And then finally, when we figured out it was just the way I was driving, then we were too loose and we had to go back off of that. And then, with sprint cars, they're so sensitive about the density in the air and all of those things. And so trying to get our fuel right was half our problem. We couldn't even focus on the setup of the car because it didn't want to run because of the pills that we had in it. And so finally we leaned it out and the car was on rails until all of a sudden that, smoke started coming out of the car. We were a little too lean and we overheated the motor, but just trying to get all those little tiny details right. And if you just miss just one detail, then it just blows everything. So
I know. And like we mentioned, you raced in this race last year, so you kind of know a little bit at least what to expect going into this year's Open Wheel Showdown. So for your like training or preparation for this event this year, has it changed from what you did last year to prepare?
A little bit. Now we at least know where we were, what setup we had that was fast and what setup we had that wasn't so fast. So we have a little bit of an edge there of where we're going to start off. And, last year we had a brand new driveline put into the car. And the second the car fired, first practice, Vegas, it broke. The whole driveline broke. And so we couldn't figure out what piece broke. And come to find out later that night, it was a faulty part, a brand new faulty part. And it just took us all night to figure it out. So we didn't get a single lap of practice. And so that destroyed us. So we had to go straight into qualifying. And the next morning, well, everybody else had like 6 hours of practice under their belt, and we were just kind of winging it. So this year we've been making sure that the car is all good. Pink Lady, everything was good, and we're not going to touch it. All those little things. And so hopefully this year we actually get all of that practice, and then even with knowing what the setup we need to show up with, and then getting the practice on that setup to just get those final little tweaks, it'll just put us so much more ahead than where we were last year.
What coming out of Grantsville or just Utah in general, right? There's not a lot of Utah racers going down there, but you're one of them. It's got to be you got to have a little bit of pride knowing that you're representing, right? Not your city, but your state down there. So how does it feel to know that you're a representative of Utah racing down there on such a large stage?
No pressure though.
I mean, when people come up to me in Vegas or really anywhere, Pink Lady, Colorado, and they're like, "So where are you from?" I'm like, "Utah." And they're like, "What? What race car drivers are from Utah?" It's so unheard of. And I mean, I get it. We don't have any asphalt oval racetracks here in Utah. And so, when people are like, "Do they have racetracks in Utah?" I'm like, no. They do, but not for us. And they're like, so you don't practice that much really then? And it's like, yeah, we have to travel to Twin Falls to practice. And so, everybody's kind of like, man, that must suck for you. Everybody has all this extra practice that you don't. And so it's, to go out there and do well, even given the circumstances of living in Utah and, not really being heard of because I'm from Utah, it just makes it feel that much cooler to be there and do well.
Having been there last year, I know, like you were talking about, had some problems, with the car and that, and you've learned from it. But what was something cool? Was there something super memorable that stuck with you that you loved from last year's event that you're kind of hoping to have again? Is there something you're looking forward to most?
I'd say the people. It was so cool to meet so many new people that were right in line with my goals and what I love about racing. And it was just that instant click of all these people I never met in my life, and so I really love that aspect of it. And everywhere you looked, people were all so friendly and wanting to connect. And then I had people coming up to me and I didn't know who they were, but it felt like I did. And I loved that so much. Just so many people in love with such a cool event and wanting to share it with everybody else. I think that was my favorite part.
And then I've just got one more question is, if you're going down to something like this, if you could choose, now I don't want somebody, I'm not saying you're going to give away Grandpa John's job, but if you're going to have a celebrity crew chief for one race, who would be the celebrity crew chief and why? I
would have to say, and my grandma's probably going to put a whole bunch of orange hearts on there, but Tony Stewart for sure. Because he was my grandma's favorite driver forever, ever since I grew up. I'll have to show you, but there's a picture of me at Rocky Mountain Raceways, 2 years old, hanging onto the fence in this onesie Tony Stewart outfit. It's Home Depot, everything. It is awesome. And, just all of his experience in open wheel and sprint cars, and then on every level in all these different racetracks, and how successful he was and all of that. I don't think there's anybody else I'd rather have.
Right on. Well, and he'd be assistant crew chief because no one's taking John's job. I'm just going to say that. John does a great job. We love John.
Yeah, you should see it in his wallet. So he showed this to me one day. He has this little laminated card that he keeps in his wallet, and on the front side it says "car too loose," and it has a list of all these little bullet points of things to try. And then on the back it says "car too tight," and it has all this list of everything. And then he made a copy of this laminated card for my boyfriend Chase, and he's like, "Here, you're gonna need this one day when I'm not around. I need you to hold it, keep it in your wallet." So you know what we're doing around here.
That's why he's the crew chief. He's setting the team up for future success. I love it.
Yes.
You better tell him to make one of those for Tony Stewart when he shows up this. Well, Natalie, one thing I know you guys have been working really, really hard on, and we had an opportunity to chat with you at Pink Lady Classic. Just real quick, tell us a little bit about the race against bowling. I know that's pretty near and dear to you, and Ryan Phipps presented you with a hood and the whole deal that we had there. Take a minute to tell the fans out there, what's that program that you're such a big part of?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been years in the making. We had this big following, and Tooele County here in Utah was struggling really, really bad with bullying. I had friends that transferred schools because they were getting bullied so bad, or they went homeschooled, and people that I knew were committing suicide, and it just was so bad. And so we decided to share a message with all of our followers and anybody that's ever watches me or sees me on the track. We wanted to spread the message about the Race to End Bullying and what it means and what it stands for, and just kind of teach people how to be kind, and understand that everybody goes through their own struggles. And so we started that foundation. It's becoming official here, I think, this month. And so we'll be able to take donations in Vegas. And what those do is they help us go to schools. It takes all three of us to take a day off of work and get the car to a school and bring all of our merch and talk to kids and let them see the race car. And it's so cool to see the smile on the kids' faces, and then the race car makes them pay attention, right? Because they're like, oh my gosh. Right. So yes, with the Race to End Bullying, if you would like to be a part of it or to donate, just message me or look on my Facebook page, and we'll have a link on there. And then, of course, in Vegas, we'll be able to do that as well.
All right. So you ready? From quarter midgets to a little bit of modified, and now to your second open wheel showdown. How do you guys feel going into this? I mean, I know it's a huge event, some of the best competition you're probably going to see all year.
Yeah, and with the modifieds being there, it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. My uncle Lynn Hardy, he bought the car back from us coming out of retirement. So he's going to run that open wheel showdown. And so we actually lost a crew member because the modifieds have been welcome to the open wheel.
I was going to say, that's kind of good and bad, huh?
Yeah, so we're excited. I mean, just having all the different experience at different racetracks and stuff, it kind of gives me, I think, a little bit of an edge, because when I ran Rocky Mountain Raceways every single weekend, and then to turn around and go to Meridian once a year, it was so hard. But now, we're going to Twin Falls, and we're going to Colorado and Meridian, and so it's made that adjustment for me a lot easier, and to not go from something I've known all year long and then try to do everything exactly the opposite. To be able to do that transition multiple times a year makes it a little easier for us.
Okay. So tell us who's helping you out. I mean, I know Meridian, Twin Falls, Colorado, and now Vegas. You got to have an army behind you, getting you around that racetrack and chasing 50 grand and meeting some new friends next month.
Yes, for sure. I mean, of course, my number one, Grandpa John, without him, I don't know, we'd probably be putting around in like a roll cage or something. Like, I don't even know what would happen.
Flintstone style.
So, of course, him and my grandma Sherry, she keeps us on our toes and makes sure all of our merch and all that stuff is handled. And my boyfriend Chase, my grandpa's right-hand man, he's always, working on the car and making sure he understands. And, we have a couple guys that come with us every once in a while, Clinton and Sid and Nick Pepe and Lynn and all those guys that help us out, Buzz. And, and then, of course, I got to thank all my sponsors. Wickless Sensations, they're our number one. We wouldn't be able to do this entire season without them, let alone a race. And so, I, of course, got to thank them first. B Graphics, Monty makes the car look beautiful every year. Helps us stand out. So I got to thank him. We have a couple little ones coming on this year, Over Turf and you guys. And, just to help us get to that event, is every little bit helps, And so West Valley Collision and Repair right now, they're helping us a little bit, and Redemption, just everybody that helps us here and there. Every little bit of it helps us throughout the season.
Right. Okay, well, Patrick and I make it to Vegas. We'll go gamble the night before, and we'll up our sponsorship to like $1 million, right, Patrick? Because we're going to win big.
Yeah,
so
put it all on black. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Natalie, I mean, anything we can do to help you, let us know. And we love having you guys here at Twin and Meridian. and you're going to have a big, huge cheering section down there. Our good buddy Spanky. I'm a little upset with Spanky, our Twin Falls. Patrick, he just sends me a message. Hey, guess what I just did, Brent? I just booked my room.
He booked already?
Man, I think he just did it because he knew I was just talking about it. So, but yeah, you're gonna have some fans down there, and hopefully we're a couple of them. So, be safe and get that thing going around the track.
Perfect. Sounds good. I'll try my best, guys.
Okay. Thanks, Natalie. Man. Good luck down there.
Thanks for having me.
So Natalie Waters, got a couple more comments here. Just that I want Natalie to see before she goes. Dylan's going to be down there with the media crew. Yeah, look at all this. Where's all the Isili's? You look beautiful. I haven't seen a boy, Patrick. You look handsome today. Brent, you look. It's all Natalie looks beautiful.
I really could have used a comment like that today too. Jeez.
Yeah, maybe next time, Patrick.
But that's the Waters, the whole crew, right? They're always on point. They're always looking good, ready, razor sharp, ready to go.
Ready to roll out there. So no, looking forward to watching Natalie down there, and it's gonna be exciting event, Patrick. I mean, what the heck? 133 cars in 3 different divisions, and like DJ said, there's gonna be the ones that don't make it or can't make it down there, but in the end, he's gonna have 100 plus.
Yeah, you got triple digits for sure. And good luck, like parking them. Like he said, the parking, that's gonna be quite a task, but hashtag worth it. Once if you're able to see that live, it's gonna be crazy. If you can't and you watch online and you got Ralph Sheens announcing it, like, come on, man. That's awesome.
I know. See, and that's the stuff you and I'm so jealous, but it's so awesome to watch.
We love the racing, and we also love, we're talking about the guy who's going to be talking about racing.
The guy that, so everybody else is like, what are you talking about? But wait, we're going to feel good here. Thank you, Dylan. These hosts are very handsome.
Dylan, I like you.
Not that we begged for this, but we're going to take every bit about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Another Brent says that we look amazing.
Wow, jeez.
Dang.
Hey,
we're stunning.
Jeremy, what's up? Hey.
Whoa. Even John Waters says that we're cute. That might be the best one. Cute.
Thanks, John.
Stunning, cute. I can guarantee you it's probably been 49 and a half years since I was called cute. Maybe 4 or 5 months old. That was last time. And John Waters just did it for me. And Ashley says, go get him, Natalie. So, yeah, man, there we go. I don't know. I'm so excited. Spanky, put me in your carry-on luggage. I don't even need a bed. I'll sleep on the sidewalk. I'll make a friend. I'll just come to the racetrack later on. Going to be a good show. Kirk Morgan jumped in. He is partner with, that's who Davey races for. Kirk's been up here to Meridian, and from a race car kid to a race car driver, and I think the young man has definitely dipped his hand into this promoting part. I know it's not what he wants to do full-time forever, but I would say pretty successful so far in year number 2.
Yeah, when you've got Hamilton's putting on a race event, that there's been a lot of thought and there's a lot of experience put behind every decision that they make, so it's going to be pretty solid.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll let these guys get rolling. It's the Open Wheel Showdown. Go to the Open Wheel Showdown Facebook page, internet. You got a little over a month. Spanky has a little over a month to get Patrick and I a room. Just saying. Maybe we could just tell Spanky we'll just sit on each side of him wherever he's at, and we'll just announce for him into his.
Yeah, totally free of charge, dude.
Start on Thursday, and then that way by Saturday he'll just start buying us dinner and drinks and telling us to leave him alone. Right?
Yeah.
We can make this happen. We can make it happen.
Pleasant event. Yeah.
Yes, it would be the best 4 days that Spank has ever spent with us, and probably the last 4 days that he would. No, huge props to Davey and his crew, and the 130 plus race car drivers that are doing everything they can to prepare to go down there. Another one of our racing heroes. I've watched DJ since he was a little kid. Him and my son raced outlaw karts on the infield, and he is, went to the moon. Biggest thing is, I hope that him, Jimmy Hamilton Jr., my son's down there. I hope those guys in Florida make it through the next couple of days safe.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big one. That's why I only go to Florida to visit my son and my grandkids in non-hurricane season because I'm a wuss. So, but yeah, so you had a week off. You're done till banquet time.
Yep.
You know, I mean, maybe if the kids want to go trick or treating and you want to take a 5-hour drive to do it in a couple of weeks, you can come on up here. It's hard to believe it's this time of year. It seemed like yesterday I called you and said, "Hey, want to do a podcast? I know it's still snowing outside, but let's do it." And here we are wrapping it up.
Yep, it's sad. It's sad, but we also, you and I were the type of dudes that we've already been talking about things we can do for this next year to make things better here and there, and so that's it. We're already excited for next year.
Yeah, ready to roll. So Natalie Waters is going down. Monty just jumped on here. He's going down. The cool thing is, Patrick, they're going to have a little pit stop podcast running with both of those cars.
Yeah.
So anything we can do, even if it's buying somebody a Coke and a nacho just to fill your belly before the heat race, anything we can do to help those drivers out, we appreciate being able to be a part of it. That's
for sure.
That's the cool thing.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe next week, the week after, we'll talk champions. Like we said, 5 champions were crowned at Meridian. Brendan Fries did a great job. He held off Josh Jackson. Melissa and Andrew went in at a 5. She was 5 points down. Some great pro late model racing. Yeah, and ends up winning it. I think the final tally was 6 or 7 points, but all that the drivers know is I got to beat that car if I want to win this thing.
And literally came down to the last few feet of the race.
Yes. I talked to Tate Elquist tonight, who won that race, and he was like, "Man, I was rolling. I was going to win my first race." Because Tate comes out, he races a couple times a year. He's not the full timer like a lot of them. And he said, then coming out of 4, I looked in the rearview mirror and I was like, "Whoa!" Because there you got the top 2 in points, door to door. And I said, "Yeah, Tate, it looked really good." And then about the last 10 feet, I thought, "Holy crap! They're going to split you. They're going to go 3 wide, nearly across the line." But congrats to Melissa, 14th track championship between Chaparral and Meridian. Gosh, she must be older to have that many.
No, she started really young is what it was. Yeah.
Oh, the door just locked. I'm locked in now. That was heard. Oh, well, game over. One more comment popped up, and then I'll let you get going. 2 cars. So, yeah, we're going to.
Jimmy's taking 2 down, yeah.
Utah's going to be represented down there. So, okay. Well, man, thanks for hanging out. Davey Hamilton Jr., Natalie Waters, she's gonna tear it up down there. She's gonna do good. I have a good feeling about what they're doing. And they got the thing running good too, she said. So
yeah, they got it figured out now, so watch out.
All right. So championship edition coming up here in the next couple of weeks. October 26th, Meridian Speedway Trunk or Treat. We have Motorplex at the Mill. Patrick, I'm not announcing because DJ Everett and Jen do a heck of a job, but Friday night, I'm back on the fire crew at the Motorplex in the Mill.
Right on.
So please, nobody wreck.
Yeah,
Last thing you want to see is this running at you when you're in need of help.
With a fire extinguisher.
A fire extinguisher in one hand and a microphone in the other. But Darren's giving me a chance to ride with him out there at Motorplex in the Mill Friday. So we're going to go watch some racing. Skyline Speed Bowl, Mike Hassan Hustler. It's outlaw kart racing. There's money on the line, a bonfire at the end of the night, and a celebration. So when I'm done in Emmett, I'm going to cruise all the way out to South Boise and go hang out with the outlaw kart folks. So
right on.
Other than that, that's all I know. You know anything else?
No, man, that's it.
Okay. 9:00. I turn into a pumpkin at 9:15. I don't want that to happen live on the internet. So for DJ, Natalie, Patrick, and the amazing guests that we had tonight, or commenters that we had tonight, don't leave anybody out. She's excited. One of the Websters. See, they're all, and I know they're going to modify down there as well.
Yep.
So for everybody, have a good night. Patrick and I'll be back on here. Well, maybe next week, maybe the week after.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Stay tuned on the Facebook page.
Yeah, stay tuned on the Facebook page. And if you are part of the Western Idaho Racing Hall of Fame inductees or the WIRA Hall of Fame members, November 23rd, mark your calendars, and we'll be releasing more information tomorrow on a Hall of Fame induction celebration, courtesy of our friends at the Lakeside Barn. So, all right, Patrick, go get those kids in bed. We'll get out of here. And Fred says, good night. Good job.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Good luck, Natalie.